Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we are back, and we're going to be talking about the Democrat vice president, vice presidential nominees. And this is the part that gets me nervous. A lot of people say, "Oh, the vice presidential or running mate doesn't really matter." Well, let me tell you this: it kind of does when it comes to the vice presidential debate. Now, if there was no vice presidential debate, this supposedly wouldn't matter. Instead, the presidential debate matters more, and I think more people would view the presidential debate. But we need to kind of pick the guy. And now, once again, this isn't our choice, right? This isn't we don't really have a say. I can have a preferable one, and I'm going to tell you, all of these people on the list are bad. And I'm hoping that Kamala Harris picks someone that's not on the short list. And in my expectations, she probably won't. And because once again, she has a big close connection with these characters. You'll see there are vetting process and potential nominees. The following candidates reportedly received the vetting materials from the Harris campaign on July 23rd, 2024. That is today. And that was Andy Beshear of Kentucky, Governor Andy Beshear. There, Governor Roy Cooper of North Carolina, Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, Governor J.B. Pritzker from Illinois, Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania, and Tim Walz from Minnesota. Waltzy Waltz. And I'm going to tell you, and these are the reported short list. And we're going to kind of go over these individuals first because these four are the most likely. So looking here, it says Harris secured enough delegate support to become the presumptive nominee on July 22nd. Her campaign's vetting process for potential running mates is reportedly being conducted by Eric Holder. Now, Eric Holder is the former U.S. Attorney General under President Obama. And it would be nice if she would choose him because that's what George Bush did in 2000. As you know, the vetting process, as you know, I would say Dick Cheney was a part of the Bush campaign, and he was in charge of trying to find running mates, and he couldn't really find any, so Bush just chose Cheney to be his running mate since he was indeed a congressman. But who knows? Um, let's just say the Democrat establishment run by Barack Obama is making, well, I would say Barack Obama, he's not so 100% in when it comes to Kamala Harris seizing this nomination. He doesn't really trust her, and I don't blame her. There are periods where I think, oh my goodness, Kamala Harris, she could possibly blow this out. Um, but there are other periods where I'm saying, you know what? There's no way we're going to go and elect this woman. Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. I am seeing patterns and seeds being planted in the garden. And what looks like to be a red wave or a Republican victory could turn out to be a 2016 version for the Republicans, where we go in thinking Donald Trump's totally going to win and Kamala Harris isn't going to win. Well, I can guarantee you, if we go in and we take that attitude, keep extended through a proportion, guess what's going to happen? Kamala Harris will win because let's see, the pro-feminist mob is energized. Have you seen the stuff going on? They're energized. However, good news is BLM is not so with the Harris campaign. And they're kind of sticking with Obama saying, let's do an open convention. So then again, do not get your hopes up. Please do not blow this. And of course, I'm not blaming it on you, but let's keep in mind when we see other YouTubers doing 2024 predictions, I don't think I've ever seen a prediction where Kamala Harris defeated Donald Trump. I don't think I've ever seen one. But if there is one that has Harris defeating Donald Trump and it happens to be a conservative, don't criticize him or her. Because maybe that conservative's thinking logically or speaking out. We want this person to speak out and say and point out the problem. Harris is going to win because of this and this and this. Don't yell at him and say you're deluded, you're delusional. Maybe he's right at this point. Our campaign is struggling with this, and this could backfire in the general election. Let's make sure we follow the proper protocols. Make sure that we secure a swift victory. We're not. I'm sure a lot of people say the assassination's enough to give Trump a landslide. I don't know. I don't think so. If we go in there thinking that and just say I'm not going to vote because of a picture, a very well taken picture of Donald Trump being shot in the ear, and thinking that's going to get people out and voting, then we're going to lose. That's the truth. And Right Eagle Politics says that running mate doesn't really matter. It kind of does to a point. And I told you the debate, because 2012, Mitt Romney was destroying Barack Obama. And I thought Barack Obama was more slick. And in the vice presidential debate, Joe Biden, who wasn't so sleepy at the time, in 2012, ripped Paul Ryan apart, obliterated Paul Ryan, knocked him out. And that could have changed the outcome of the race. Luckily, I believe there's just only one vice presidential debate. This isn't the forefront. This isn't the number one thing in the world. This is, as you know, you should know, not really the most important, but then again, intellectual intelligence is going to be a huge indicator. Who's the most smart and who's the most intellectually smart unknown? I think J.D. Vance is a very smart man. He has that Vivek Ramaswamy a part of him. That goes on fire, and he knows what to say. He's young. He's smart. But I also know all these guys on here, every single one of them, have been known for taking down their opponents in debates. And that's what really scares me, being completely honest, and concerns me. Now, let's talk about the reported shortlist. We could go over and talk about, these are media speculation. You know what? I would love to have these people: Pete Buttigieg, William H. McRaven, and Gina Raimondo. And I think Raimondo would be a perfect one. Then again, I want it to be someone that we aren't going to recognize and point out, like a Biden administration official. It would be much easier if Harris picked someone that's a part of the failing administration that's ruling our country today. That would be easier for Vance. It would be easier. I think J.D. Vance needs to be a little concerned too. J.D. Vance can't say I want which one's good and which one's not. In fact, he should keep his mouth shut and watch and find out who his opponent's going to be. That's what Kamala Harris had to do. That's a strategy. Keep your mouth shut and don't say anything. You can't say, please don't be Mark Kelly. Guess what? They're going to choose Mark Kelly, because I've met a lot of people, even conservatives. They are saying, Mike, I don't like him, but Mark Kelly sounds very friendly. He seems like a nice guy. And he's not only that, he has been a part of NASA. He is an astronaut. So he has a big background, and I can guarantee that's the reason why he's the Democrat version of John McCain in Arizona. So keep in mind, I do not want a Mark Kelly for Harris. Mark Kelly has a huge connection with Kamala Harris. I think the likelihood that Mark Kelly would be the running mate is high, and we have to go in this race expecting that it's going to be someone that's super intellectually smart. I think the Harris campaign and the Democrats know that Kamala's not really her elevator doesn't really come up all the way. So therefore she needs someone to bring her through. And let's see, apparently we got 4 smart intellectual men. And guess what? So coincidental. These 4 men have been known to be well approved and well popular politicians. Of course. Of course. And here's the one. I'm going to say the one I preferably prefer out of these 4 is going to be Andy Beshear. We talked about you last year. I'm still frustrated that you won re-election, Mr. Beshear. But we know that you can't be the reason why you can't flip Kentucky. You can't flip Kentucky. Despite Andy Beshear, I don't know if he most likely won debates against Daniel Cameron, but he most likely won those, as you know, debates. Yeah, he began his second term in 2023. That's amazing. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. But yes, we know he comes from a red state. Despite this red state, I mean, here's the thing. Kentucky will vote for blue or Democrat if it's a state-run election. You know how many times Beshear has won Kentucky? He won Kentucky in 2015. Look at that. Blue Kentucky. I don't think he was defeated in any race before. So there's Kentucky governor. There's also 2019 Beshear. 2019, 2023, and there we go. It's just so coincidental. But yes, the thing about Beshear that I like is, will it flip a swing state? No, because Kentucky's not a swing state. It's not a swing state, therefore it's not a state we need to be concerned about. Just because Beshear won Kentucky 3 times does not mean Harris is going to pick up Kentucky. And even if Beshear ever runs for president, he isn't going to win Kentucky because state elections are different than presidential elections. Presidential elections, identity politics goes far and beyond. And I can guarantee you, if you had Donald Trump or Beshear run against Donald Trump, I think Donald Trump would handily defeat Beshear. And so, yes, I would say go ahead. Choose Andy Beshear. I would be not concerned. I wouldn't be a fretting or something like that. I wouldn't be so concerned. I wouldn't be so concerned about Roy Cooper, despite him coming from North Carolina. Now, North Carolina, keep in mind, he's probably on the short list because he comes from North Carolina, a swing state, a state that has been shifting more to the right. But the thing is, North Carolina, yeah, it's turning into Florida very, very slowly. And sure, you got Roy Cooper. Bring Roy Cooper. But right, just like you did with Paul Ryan, Romney literally chose Paul Ryan because he thought, okay, Ryan would help to win this Wisconsin. Did the Romney-Ryan campaign win Wisconsin? No, they didn't win Wisconsin. In fact, Wisconsin voted for Obama over 5 points. So then again, it doesn't really guarantee that, you choose someone that happens to be from a swing state. It helps, but not all the way. So yeah, there's a chance you get Roy Cooper. North Carolina could somewhat be compatible. Roy Cooper's electoral history is somewhat interesting. Let's see. Yeah, he won. I thought he won 100% once, but Attorney General, yes, 51% in 2000, 55% in 2004. And during this time, North Carolina has been known for the tendency of voting for Democrats. 2008 Attorney General, yes, he wins by a landslide of 61%. This is pretty much his best. But yeah, he wins 100% in 12. Look at that. So he wins 100%, carrying every county in 2012 in the Attorney General election. So that really, no one even bothered challenging this clown. No one even bothered. No one even dared challenge Roy Cooper. But then, tables turn, because this guy who won 100% of the popular vote decides to run in 2016. He runs against the very unpopular governor, Pat McCrory. And he stays a while in 2020, where he handily defeats Dan Forrest, the lieutenant governor. A margin of 4.51%. So it looks like North Carolina respects this guy, despite being a swing state. Will he be the indicator of what makes what makes North Carolina flip? Well, seeing how, I mean, this state is very motivated by Trump, a pro-Trump state in general. So I think realistically, and seeing the way it's been polling lately, it's going to take a lot. But I would expect the Harris campaign would at least try to flip that state. And maybe areas around that, like Georgia, would also be flipped. But that's also an indicator that geographically, Roy Cooper would be the best choice. Mark Kelly is probably one of the worst on this list when it comes to how we may do in an election. We need to pray that she doesn't pick Mark Kelly. And this is interesting because Harris has an interesting relationship with Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly is Kamala Harris's most favorite U.S. senators in the Senate. Very close relationship. And that really, really concerns me. And we know who Mark Kelly is, right? Mark Kelly from Arizona. Sure, this guy barely won in 2020. 51.48%. He won by almost 5 points. A 2.4%. It's mainly 2 years later where he gets to a 4-pointer or a 5-pointer victory. And you'll see the reason why, because people, once again, like Mark Kelly. He has a very good personality, the average politician personality, personality a lot of people enjoy and like to get to know. So, yeah, this may benefit Kamala Harris. And I really, really, really wish Red Eagle Politics would raise the red flags and tell everyone that, yeah, Mark Kelly is a concern. He is a concern. Coming from Arizona, where the state generally loves him. The state loves this guy. That is also a concern. He's coming from a swing state that, although polling for Trump by 5 points, I don't necessarily trust that. I necessarily don't trust and really, I would say, let my guard down on that, because I know Maricopa County. I know the last two situations in Arizona was bad, and you add a prominent figure like Mark Kelly into the picture, that's going to screw things up. And I can guarantee you, Arizona goes blue. So yes, Mark Kelly. I don't want him. No. But then again, I think Vance doesn't want him either. And then again, another thing that would be good for him for her was he's actually intellectually smart. He took down Blake Masters. He took down the incumbent senator Martha McSally. Heck, this guy's an astronaut. This guy's an astronaut. You have to be a very smart man in order to go to space. Yeah, you would have to be a very, very smart man in order to go to space. I'm like, serious. And I'm like, okay. We have, I mean, this guy's not a freshman. He was recently elected 2020, 4 years. 4 years of this guy. But you get what I'm saying. Two both aren't, they're kind of newbies. They're noobs in the Senate. I would really consider someone not a noob, an experienced, a long-term senator to be someone that served 3 terms, like Ted Cruz. But yeah, potentially having these two men not being really experienced. I mean, Mark Kelly, I think at the, I mean, there's nothing political about being an astronaut, but being an astronaut is basically so much experience, lots of experience of being an astronaut, and a logical and you know what you're doing type of guy in order to go to space. It's a life-threatening job. I'm not kidding. Should we tell the story of Sally Ride? I think we know Sally Ride story. I think we passed the anniversary, but yes, we know that story. And even smart astronauts die. And this guy is not an astronaut anymore, but he got elected to the U.S. Senate, and he wasn't even a politician. But then again, it didn't really matter. He was an astronaut. His career as an astronaut proved that his intellectual abilities, and that's how he became U.S. Senator. And you better believe he's going to have some amazing talking points to destroy J.D. Vance, and he's going to use whatever he can to justify the corrupt Biden administration, the worst administration in history that rigged its own primary and ditched their own potential, their own nominee, where 14 million people went and vote for in droves. Joe Biden, 14 million people, 87% of the popular vote. Nope, that doesn't matter. The Democrats throw him off the ship and say it's time to find a new guy. Or how about gal? And they pull in Kamala Harris. And I mean, okay. I mean, it would be different if Kamala Harris challenged Biden in the primaries, but seriously, these guys are cowards. They don't want to send Biden in and have confidence in him. No! They have to win, and they have to win by a lot. So it's just ridiculous. And this guy will openly defend the corruption of the Biden administration, the inflation, the open border crisis, and everything. And he will trick all of us. He will trick all of us because of his smart intellectual ability. So please, guys, please spread the news. I mean, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do, but don't get your hopes up thinking this is going to be so easy. No, it's not going to be easy, guys. Donald Trump says she'll be easy. No, it's not she, it's he, because Kamala Harris has strings too. Who's moving Kamala Harris's strings? It better not be Mark Kelly, because Mark Kelly will kick our butts. He will. So we need to really be caught. We need to be precautious when it comes to him. Then finally, there's Josh Shapiro. Another one I do not like. Absolutely not. Josh Shapiro has the politician personality, and he's ultimately known for winning landslides. A lot of people say, oh, the reason why he won in 2022 was because he was running against a fascist, Doug Mastriano. No, I was the one who said that once, but a lot of people say, "Oh, it's because Mastriano was far right." Um, I really doubt that was the case. It's just if you go back and see Josh Shapiro's electoral history, it all makes sense. It really does. Go back to his electoral history. Attorney General was his first at large because he served in Montgomery County Board of Commissioners. 2016, he ran in the Attorney General election, 51 to 48%. That wasn't as bad, but then in 2020, not as bad either. I guess he lucked out specifically. Yeah, it even looks. This is weird. It looks like the 2020 map. Ha ha ha! Like ridiculous map. But yes, but what you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. 2022 was bad. Maybe it is because of Mastriano, and maybe the Philadelphia uh, overall helped Mastriano or just helped Shapiro because they demonized this guy. They accused him of anti-Semitism. I'm going to read about this. After his primary, the far-right Mastriano had trouble fundraising. All right, they called him far-right. Well, it really depends. Click on his name, they'll explain. Far-right politician and retired military officer who served representing the 3rd District. I know he made some comments and he believes in QAnon, but they link him to Nazism, and honestly, really, and part of it was he's allegedly a part of the January 6th insurrection. Allegedly. He was seen on a video passing through police barriers at Capitol barriers and had breached by others in the crowd. You see, they demonized this guy so much, and they put that on. They should have put that in the other detail. But like, seriously. But yeah, he had a hard time fundraising, and he only got 41% of the popular vote. Not pretty good. That resulted to a Shapiro landslide. I say maybe it's not Shapiro itself, but then again, Shapiro was well liked and respected by moderates abroad. And that's overall pretty concerning. Overall, I would say the worst, Kelly. The best, Bashir. I don't really care about Cooper. But if I know you take Andy Bashir, there's no state that's really going to flip. And I think the Harris campaign knows that. Like, you can't flip Kentucky. I mean, but then again, Andy Bashir has a talent in overperforming Democrats in red states. He could. I'm not saying that there's going to be an overperformance in those sort of states, but you don't know. There's also a controversy because all of these are moderate Democrats, establishment Democrats to be exact, meaning that they are staunchly and strongly pro-Israel. So will the pro-Palestine mob participate in this election? Well, I don't know. I made a video of that, and I said, will they participate? And I said, you know what? It really depends. It's up to them. And they were so committed to vote against Joe Biden because Joe Biden was stereotyped as a 1950 Democrat or a 1960s, late 19th, 20th century Democrat, anti-communist Democrat that, once again, supports wars across the country. Kamala Harris has a different background. But I've heard that people aren't really a fan of her either. And the pro-Palestine mob is telling her she's not doing a good job telling Joe Biden not to stop the war, right? Because Kamala Harris is the one pulling the strings, right? She's the one pulling the strings. But the overall, guys, I really hope it's going to be one of these guys. Right here. If it's going to be William H. McRaven, which I honestly don't really know why he's on here, but if it's McRaven, sweet. Let's go with him. I care less. Go with him. Do not go with Raphael Warnock. I want him to stay all the way down to the bottom. If she chooses Warnock, I'm gonna flip out. Like, this guy will erase the whole black vote for Trump. This guy, like I told you, has a talent, has a leading personality. He's a leader, and he's a pastor, and he knows how to lead the black vote. So no, I don't want Warnock. So stay all the way down. And these people have been declined to be considered. Gretchen Whitmer, good. Well, actually, I guess it really didn't matter. If Gretchen Whitmer ran, I would be panicking because, I don't know. You never know. Gavin Newsom. Wesmore, I'm glad he isn't on the ticket. He would have been bad. And Joe Manchin. He's just too right wing. And vice presidential polling, Pete Buttigieg. Yes, I really hope they consider this poll. I really, really hope they do. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to our initial picks, our top 4? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, see you all in the next political episode.